Elizabeth. So in my last video, I shared with you guys the huge news that the Mederos are now Disney Vacation Club members, and I am stoked. I'm so excited. And I'm gonna share with you guys, how did we come up with 200 points? How did we figure out that number? And I'm gonna jump into all the scoop right now. All right, welcome back everybody to the channel. I post here every week. I share about Disney, trips, travels, sometimes puppy videos too, because who doesn't love a good puppy video? But if you have been looking into DVC, that's why I wanted to create this video. I did a lot of research before we decided to pull the trigger. My husband did too. In fact, we did years and years of research. We went in and talked with cast members about DVC multiple times. And ultimately, we decided on 200 points, and I feel like you could never have enough DVC points. Like, I feel like you could, you know, what is the cap? Like, where's the limit stop? And it's probably your budget. Like, that's where it needs to cap, is what you can afford. But it could be overwhelming. So the way it works with the points is you pay Disney a certain amount per point. That is your contract of how much you're going to pay. You can either pay out of pocket and pay cash, or you can finance it and pay it over a certain amount of time. You can buy it resale through a third party, or you can buy it through Disney. And there are dues on every single point that you purchase. So we had to figure out how many points were we going to purchase, how much could we afford, and what did we need for our family to travel and to vacation. So the minimum amount of points right now, as I'm filming this video, that you can purchase through Disney is 125 points. And that just wasn't enough for what we wanted to do. So what I decided to do is to pull out the point calculator, which was on their app, on their website, and kind of made up some like mock trips, I guess. So we usually like to go to Disney for Thanksgiving. We love to go for a few days in the summer, and we love to go for like another trip whenever, October, January, sometimes March, you know, just picked 3 times for 3 4-night stays. And I figured out the points picking various resorts, because you can use your points at all of Disney's Disney Vacation Club resorts. So Wilderness Lodge, Riviera, Contemporary, Boardwalk, Beach Club. I'm probably missing some. Animal Kingdom Lodge, Old Key West. There's so many. Saratoga Springs. And I picked some of my favorites and figured out if we did a 1-bedroom for 4 nights, and if we did a deluxe studio 4 nights for 2 trips, that would be 3 trips in the year, and that would be what we're looking for our family. So if I was frugal with the points and found the cheapest times of year, or if I picked one of the more prime times of year like Thanksgiving or in the summertime, how much would those points work? And when I initially did it and just did the prime times, or if I did just 1-bedroom condos, which is what I really wanted at first, it was close to 300 points. And when we crunched the numbers, it was more than we felt comfortable paying. So we were figuring out the math, and it looked like it was gonna be about, if I did a 1-bedroom and a studio for those 2 trips, we could make it work. Now we could borrow points, we can bank points, we can combine points from, you know, upcoming years to do a bigger trip maybe. There's so many options, but what we came down to is 200 points works for us. And if down the line we ever wanted to add more points, we could. And if once we have our contract paid off, which is financed over 10 years, I think 7 or 10 years, after that we could always add more points. Or we could buy resale, which I'm gonna do a whole separate video on why we chose to buy through Disney versus resale. And we can always add on some points there. There are so many deals on resale, and I could always get a contract for 50 points or 100 points for the next 20 years and add that. So one thing that I wanted to keep in mind, not just how much the contract cost, but also how much are the dues. So you have to pay on every point you purchase a certain amount of dues from that resort, which it goes towards upkeeping that resort. So we bought from Riviera, and the points were $8 and change per point that you have to pay per year, and those go up every year. So some of the other resorts, they could be as cheap as 6, some of them go up to like 11, and so they vary per resort. So you can look those up online and see what those are, but the more points you purchase, the more dues you pay. And your points limit you on where you can stay, because you can only use them at the DVC resorts at Walt Disney World, and that's where we're planning on using them. But if we ever wanted to stay off property at Bonnet Creek, or if we wanted to stay at the Swan and Dolphin or a moderate resort, you can't use those there. So I figured if we get the 200 points, we could always tack on another trip or tack on an extra day. So the points, using them during a Sunday through Thursday, are usually the most affordable, and the Friday and Saturday nights are always more costly. So if we use our points for the Sunday through Thursday, and if we wanted to get there a day before that or a couple days before that, we could check into the Swan and Dolphin or French Quarter or something like that and stay a day or two and pay out of pocket and have it be a much better value than using our points on a weekend, if that makes any sense. So I thought we could definitely make this work to our advantage without having to pay the dues on those points and just tack on a couple days here and there. So that kind of worked for us. By thinking through, okay, we could still stay off property, we could still stay at moderate resorts, we could still make it work for us, and that's how we really came down to 200 points working for us. And you have to do what's best for your budget and what works best for your family. So figuring out the dues plus the contract and how much does that really working out to being over the length of time. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. If you do have DVC, let me know how many points you have in the comment section below. When I was looking up some of the resale contracts, I was blown away that some people have them for only 25, and then other people have like 450 point contracts. There's a varying range depending on what your needs are and how much or how often you want to stay at Disney World. But I feel like you could always stay at Walt Disney World, right? Like, when is it too many points? I don't know. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I will have another video soon sharing with you guys why we chose to buy through Disney versus buying resale, and I'll share with you guys the pros and cons and what we ultimately decided, which was buy through Disney, and I'll share with you guys why. All right, thanks guys.